Okay, you might be wondering, what the hell? Why is the screen different? Well, I just tried to use my 3DS, you know, the one you've been seeing this whole time. However, the left shoulder button wasn't working. Even with the rubber band, so maybe RIP to that. Well, luckily though, I still have my friend's 3DS XL. I still have his 3DS XL borrowed, and he never asked for it back. Even if he asked for it back, like, I doubt he would play on it these days, right? These days, well, he doesn't really play Pokemon anymore. He doesn't really play Pokemon anymore, so I doubt even if he had this back, he wouldn't really use it anyways. Of course, I'm gonna give it back to him at some point. You know, it's whenever I'm done using it. So yeah, the left shoulder button on my 3DS doesn't seem to want to work anymore. Well, it is what it is. You know, that's why I didn't use any of the buttons on the console itself, on the Switch Lite. But instead I had separate Joy-Cons connected. Because, you know, wear and tear, Joy-Cons can be replaced, but the console itself cannot. I can't help but notice the sound is a lot quieter on this one, too. Well, until the left shoulder button decides it wants to work again, or if it truly is gone forever, well, then I guess for the time being, moving forward, we're gonna have to use my friends that he let me borrow. So before doing this, I had to bathe my dog once again. So if you're keeping track, I bathed him 2 days ago. And then I had to bathe him yet again earlier tonight. Well, what can you do, right? He's old, he's dirty, so whenever he's dirty, gotta clean him. Yes, I'm aware that constantly bathing a dog isn't healthy for the coat, the fur coat. But, like, what can you really do, right? If he's dirty, he needs to be cleaned. I can't leave him like that. And, you know, at least we clean him ourselves. Instead of, like, waiting to bring him in once a week to the groomers, or even bring him into the groomers, like, every other day. At least we clean him ourselves, or at least I do. At least I clean him myself. Let's see, yesterday night, I finally got my shiny Baltoy in my Brilliant Diamond game. In fact, I didn't get just one, not just two, I didn't get 3, I got 12. I got 12 shiny Baltoys yesterday. Sometimes RNG be like that, you know? For the life of me, I could not get a chain of 40 for Ralts, and yet Baltoy, not only did I get a chain of 40, but the chain just kept on going. It just would not stop. Even shiny patches that were not 4 spots away, I got all of those, it just would not stop. So I ended up getting 12 shiny Baltoys. That means I got a chain of 52 Baltoys. You know, I really just wanted one, and when I got the one I wanted, I was just gonna keep it a Baltoy, because Baltoy Shiny is so much better than Clay Dolls. But since I got 12, I may as well evolve one into a Clay Doll. Now, I did look up what the best nature would be for Clay Doll, off chance I got a shiny with that nature. Let me look it up again, because I think I got 2 of the supposed best natures for it. Let's see, Gemini AI on the Google prompt says, Clay Doll's defensive... Wait. A modest nature is generally recommended. And I'm pretty sure I did get one with a modest nature. Like, I saw on Google there are natures that are recommended for both, like, attack and defense, whatever. Here's why modest is a good choice for some alternative considerations. So, modest for special attack, timid for speed, relax or bold is for boosting defense or special defense. I don't know, I don't really care. Also, adamant focuses on attack. I don't really care. I just figured, well, I have so many shiny Clay Dolls. May as well look up what the best nature for... Wait, no. I have so many shiny Baltoys, may as well look up the best ability. What? The best nature for Clay Doll, off chance I got one. And I'm pretty sure I did get one that is modest nature. You know, Clay Doll Shiny actually looks pretty good in the older games, in the 2D sprites. 3D, it's okay. But I still prefer Baltoy Shiny to Clay Doll. I think it's because in 2D games, Clay Doll's Shiny, the eyes are brighter yellow, so it looked better. 3D though, it just looks like a muted, dim yellow. So it doesn't pop as much. Well, last night and earlier today, I finally finished unboxing and opening all of my full Kirby mystery box sets, those blind boxes. Finally finished opening them all and assembling them where necessary. Part of me is thinking, like, why are these so expensive? These feel almost like the same quality as the egg capsules that I would get. So, the quality feels almost the same as if they costed like a couple bucks. $2, $4. Like, you put $2 or $4 in a capsule machine, and then you just build it. It feels like the same quality as one of those. So I'm thinking, why are these so expensive? They feel the same quality as like something that's like $2 or $4. They should no reason cost like 30 to 40 bucks each. It's outlandish. It's ridiculous. But yet, people buy it. And yes, I know, I bought the whole freaking set. But, you know, after opening it, the quality is not as high as I thought. For the money I spent on these, I kind of expected them to be a little bit higher quality. But no, they're the same quality. They're roughly around the same quality as the stuff I would get for like $1 or $2. I don't know, this craze with mystery box, blind boxes is such bullshit. It's taken over everything these days. I personally don't have any interest in it. Only reason that I bought all these Kirby ones is because, well, I love Kirby, and I want everything Kirby. And that the same thing would go for, like, if there was a Zelda set, a Mario set, a set that I was actually interested in. Not the sets that are out now, where it's just like random original characters, like all this Labubu stuff. I don't care about Labubu. Even though I'm gonna get my hands on one soon. It's because my sister bought the entire freaking set just to get one that she wanted. To guarantee she gets the one she wants. And, well, she doesn't really care for the other ones, so I may as well snatch the one that I like, being the red color one. So that's why I'm getting my hands on one soon. Not because I want it, but just because my sister will have it, and she doesn't care to have it, or she doesn't care to keep it, so I may as well take it. Alright, so earlier I started a new playthrough of Brilliant Diamond, and let me tell you, replaying this game is rough, especially at the beginning. Like, you have to go through the clunky tutorial and everything, it's just not fun. However, once I get a little bit further in, have a better team, it'll be better. But for the most part, the beginning I'm not enjoying. The things I'm doing just to get an Arceus in a regular Pokeball instead of a Cherish Ball. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna subject myself to the pain that is shiny hunting an Arceus here. Like, playing through both games again is already pain enough. Today it was revealed what the next TCG Pocket set is that we'll be getting. Up next, we'll be getting Extraterrestrial Crisis. I think that's the name. It's a pretty mouthful of a name. It's going to focus on the Ultra Beast. Oh, right. Earlier today, like, today, the day I'm playing this, couple hours ago, just a few short hours ago, it has been officially announced that Avengers Doomsday, and by extension, Secret Wars, has been delayed. It was supposed to come out May 2026. However, now it's been delayed to December 2026. It's a small delay, but it's a delay nonetheless. And ultimately, I think it's probably for the best. Because they started production not long ago. They started filming the movie not long ago. You have 1 year to not only finish filming the movie, but to finish all of it. The production, you know? The editing, the CGI, the sound effect, the lighting, everything. You have 1 year to finish all that, and you just started. Doomsday and Secret Wars are hopefully some of the biggest movies ever made. And you only have 1 year? Look at how much time Infinity War and Endgame had. And even those, it came out later on that the CGI artists were rushed. But still, Infinity War and Endgame had like minimum 2 years of production. Maybe 3. I forget how long exactly. But Doomsday, just 1 year? Yeah. I don't think it would have been polished with just 1 year of time. So the small delay is probably for the best. Like, if anything pisses me off the most, it's just don't give us a date. Don't promise us a date unless, you know, you're able to make good on it. And I'm aware they have investors, they have a schedule, they have a slate, and then things change, so they need to change their plans. I get it. But like, and I realize, you have to remember, Doomsday was a pretty last-minute decision to change from the Kang Dynasty. So they kept that release date, but they changed basically everything about the film. They don't even have a script for the film, you know? But they still kept the date. You know what's sad to think, though? Let's say, when we get the film, let's say that it's not that great. Let's say it's rushed, it's not that polished, it just wasn't the film that it could have been. Well, the sad part is, once we get Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, we are probably never gonna get it again. We're never going to see that storyline be played out on film again. Maybe in like a couple centuries from now, when all of us are long gone, and they think they can, you know, retell the story, then sure, but nowhere in our lifetime, right? Because we're never gonna get another live-action movie where the Avengers are fighting Thanos with the Infinity Stones, because it's already been done. They're not gonna go back and do it. So what we have is set. So they're never gonna give us another movie with that storyline, just differently done. Perhaps even done better. I'm not saying Infinity War and Endgame were bad. I'm just saying maybe, you know, maybe many years down the line they decide to redo the story, retell the story. It could be even better. But yeah, Doomsday and Secret Wars, if we get them bad, that's it. We're getting them bad. We will never get that story told on film again. We will never have Avengers Secret Wars told on film again. Like I said, unless a couple centuries from now, they decide, the future movie producers decide, hey, that Avengers Secret Wars movie that was done a couple hundred years ago, what if we brought that idea back? You know? It's been a couple centuries. We can retell that story at this point. But we had 2 Secret Wars in the comics, so we can always have round 2. Yeah, but not in this lifetime. Not anytime soon. I mean, hold on. Just think about this. Think about this first. Secret Invasion. They really screwed up Secret Invasion. We're never gonna get another properly done Secret Invasion again. So if they screw up Doomsday and Secret Wars, that's it. We're getting them bad, and that's it. Same goes for any other bad project they gave us lately. Top of the list is She-Hulk, Echo, The Marvels, Thor: Love and Thunder. What about something like Daredevil Born Again? All the behind-the-scenes crap that they tried to do, and then they tried to course correct, but it was a little too late. Imagine how good we would have had Daredevil Born Again had they done the show properly to start. Daredevil Born Again 2 Electric Boogaloo. What? But, you know, I have faith in the Russo brothers. Sure, they may have messed up the Hulk, but still, for the most part, the Russo brothers' track record is good. Marvel-wise, at least. Didn't they just put out some movie that was pretty bad? I forget which one it was. Was it a Netflix one? Or which one was it? Was it that Netflix one? Oh yeah, it was. Electric State. That's the one. Yeah. Heard Electric State was pretty bad. But for the most part, their Marvel track record's pretty good at least. Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. So if there's anyone to do these movies justice, besides maybe James Gunn, it's the Russo brothers. You know, there's one particular Pokemon that I want to use on my replay of Brilliant Diamond. Now, this might be a stupid decision. That one Pokemon in particular, and it's not even because I particularly like the Pokemon either. The Pokemon in particular from Gen 4 I'm thinking of using on my team is Lumineon. You might be thinking, why the hell would you use Lumineon? It's so forgettable. Exactly. Nobody really remembers Lumineon even exists. So I kind of want to use it for that reason. Like, alright, why are you so forgotten? Why does nobody remember you exist, let alone really like you? Who knows, maybe I'll use it, maybe I will grow attached. Not gonna lie, I was one of those people who forgot Finneon and Lumineon even existed. When I saw them again, I'm just like, oh yeah. Them. That's right, these things exist. And you know what? I've been saying for a while that, if anything, the Pokemon graphics for BDSP, not the chibi style, like the actual Pokemon quality for the graphics looks pretty good. Same goes for Lumineon, because it actually has some sort of light up effect during nighttime. So, my team is probably the most expected Sinnoh team you can think of. Matter of fact, it's just pretty much the same team I had when I first played through the game. Only probably replacing, like, Staraptor with Lumineon. Now, I know that's an unforgivable sin in some people's eyes. Because some people love Staraptor. Staraptor's their favorite regional bird. To me, Staraptor is a little bit overrated. I mean, it's cool, but to me, it's not anything too special. So, my team so far, just because nothing else in the Sinnoh decks really interests me, my team so far is going to be Infernape, so I chose Chimchar again. It's going to be Lumineon whenever I get the rods to reel it in. And I'm thinking I'm still going to keep a Luxray. An electric type would be good against Cynthia's Milotic. I'll probably still have a Garchomp on my team, as well as a Lucario. Gee, how original. And I'll probably have a Roserade on my team again. So it's identical to my previous Brilliant Diamond team, only Lumineon's going to replace Staraptor. And who knows, if I'm trying out Lumineon and I decide this thing sucks, I'll probably replace it with the Staraptor. Diamond and Pearl have the least good Pokemon diversity. Gee, who would have thought the fact that they only had 2 fire types available. And if you didn't pick the fire starter, well, you had 1. That's actually why I was inspired to shiny hunt for a Magmortar. Like, I didn't actually realize this. I took a look at the Sinnoh decks. All the Pokemon that Generation 4 introduced. It only introduced 3 fire-type lines. So you have the Chimchar line, you have Magmortar, and you have Heatran. That's kinda just 3 brand new fire types you can use. One's a legendary, and one is technically locked to post-game. If not for Ponyta, you really would have only 2 options. One, if you did not pick Chimchar. Basically, everyone had like the same 4 to 5 Pokemon. Oh, gee, I wonder which one you might be talking about. Luxray, Staraptor, Lucario. Gee, I wonder which ones you're talking about. What do you mean people didn't have a Hippowdon or a Drapion in their team? What do you mean people didn't have Pachirisu on their team? You know what Pokemon from Gen 4 I've grown a strange interest in? And it's not even the evolved form. It's Cherubi. It's not even Cherim. For some reason, Cherubi is just stupid rare, but not Cherim. You can easily get a Cherim, like, just easily these days, but a Cherubi is stupid rare. Lopunny? Well, you don't hear me denying that. But I am not looking forward to playing either of these games again. I can shiny hunt in these games, sure, but actually playing through the game, it's not that fun. Well, at least I can do the trick that modern games technically has. Instead of running back and forth in grass, actually legitimately grinding, I can just use Pokemon Home, transfer my team to a different game, level them up, and just transfer them back. Oh, the level cap is 20 before the first gym? Great, I'll send my team to my other game, level them all up to like level 18 or 19, send them back, and just plow right through the gym. The level cap's now like 35? Great, send my team over, come back level like 33, and then I whoop Team Galactic's ass. So I don't really have to do any of the grinding, necessarily. Just battle the trainers, plow right through them for the money. So no running back and forth in the grass to grind for EXP. Oh shit, that's right, the clowns. I need to talk to the clowns to get my Poketch or whatever it's called. Is it the trainer school? Do I need to go into the trainer school? I think I do. There he is. There's Barry. I am so unfamiliar with Sinnoh. I never played Sinnoh growing up. You know what? I'm not in the mood to play this right now. Well, it seems like the left shoulder button on my 3DS really is dead. So, seems like we're gonna have to do this moving forward. Not in the mood to play Pokemon? Impossible! Well, you try replaying BDSP for the third time. Let's see how motivated you are. You know, I have opened my 3DS before and replaced the shoulder button myself before. I'm not too sure how accessible it is to purchase brand new shoulder buttons now. Wow, the first thing that shows up on Reddit from 10 years ago. Fixing unresponsive shoulder buttons on the 3DS. Simply blowing into the shoulder buttons from the outside can actually work really well if you catch it in time. Be sure to let the alcohol dry. Huh, look at that. I could just buy it on Amazon. Left and right shoulder button with flex cable for Nintendo 3DS repair left-right switch. Okay, what a... Have you ever noticed that these titles are just ridiculous? 2109, up to 7% off if you qualify. I don't care. Huh, look at that. There's a bunch of listings on Amazon. Huh. Oh, never mind. I guess they are easily accessible these days. It's so long and descriptive just to be included in whatever people are searching. I mean, look at this one here. This is the entire title. Gintai, shoulder trigger button, left, right, flex cable, L/R, ZL/ZR, flex replacement for Nintendo, new 3DS, XL, LL, 2015, repair, R/L, switch button. And that's just one of like 4 dozen listings with these big-ass names. Ugh. Well, I may need to buy one of these and replace the buttons myself. I've done it before. I may just need to use my sister's Amazon account. I tried making an Amazon account before, but then it said already in use. But I don't recall ever using or ever making myself an Amazon account. Well, my sister has an account. I'll just buy it. I'll just use her account to buy it. Well, for the time being, until I can get these new shoulder buttons and replace it, we're going to have to use this 3DS for the time. If anything, that might be a good thing for you guys. A bigger, clearer screen. You know, that friend of ours, ever since he got another girlfriend, and let's face it, a different job, man, he has been just neglecting us. I ain't chatted with him for a little bit now. Like, we used to text all the time, and now he doesn't even really respond to me anymore. Man, I've been left behind. Dude has a woman in his life now. Dude has a job. Man, left everything behind. You know, I'm actually somewhat low on energy today, despite the fact that today I was able to sleep in because I didn't have to go to work today, and I took a nap halfway in the day. I think it's because I didn't eat lunch. All I had was a sandwich for breakfast, and then I took a nap, and then it was too late for lunch, so I just had to wait till dinner. You know, there's really not too many things to be excited for these days. I mean, the Switch 2 is dropping soon. Doesn't it drop like 2 weeks? Let's see, is that 2 weeks? Yeah, that's exactly 2 weeks from today. In 14 days, the Nintendo Switch 2 will release. Am I getting one? No, I am not. At least not immediately. I'll get one eventually, maybe for the holidays. I do not have one pre-ordered. I do not plan to buy one on release. I'll buy one later on. I'm not desperately in need for a new console right now. Even if there are things I would like to play on it, I don't desperately need one just yet. And you have to keep in mind too, like I am sacrificing the small amount of money to get Mario Kart World physical. I don't want that John digital. Oh boy. I just double checked. So I see the Canadian price, $629.99. How much is that plus tax? $711.88. So over $700 is what I need to hand over if I want this console. Are you kidding me? Hold on a second. Hold on. Canadian price, Mario Kart World, $109.99. $110. Plus tax, $124.30. So hold on, add the two together. If I am going to get myself a Nintendo Switch 2 with the physical copy of Mario Kart World, I am going to have to spend $836.18 Canadian. Let me just do a quick conversion. So that price in American is $603.66 USD. I am handing over shy of $1,000 for a gaming console plus a game. One game. Oh, and who can forget? I also might need a brand new SD card for this console as well. There are things that I will not buy. Like, I'm not going to buy the Pro Controller. I'm not going to buy the straps for the Joy-Con 2s, the wheels. I'm not going to buy the camera. The hell with that camera. So yeah, I'm not going to buy a console, a brand new console anytime soon. Let's say I get this new job, and let's say I get paid $19 an hour, like I requested. And let's say, okay, 9 hours a day, that's 171. Let's say I work part-time 3 days a week, so 171 times 3. So, not even factoring in taxes or whatever else a bunch of adult things have. 1 week, say I work 3 days, 9 hours, that's $513. So 2 weeks, I would be able to afford this stuff. But that's not even factoring in taxes. My friend told me, because he studied finances, there's like a bunch of like government taxes or whatever. So the results would be I make like actually half of what I earn. I don't understand this stuff, man. I don't know this stuff. Well, he's smart, unlike me. He's the expert. He went to school for this stuff. So, you're not taxed that much? I don't know. I don't know any of this stuff. I was under the impression that I simply make what I earn or whatever. So if I make $19 an hour, I make $19 an hour. No taxes, no anything, no deductions. It's just that simple. But that's not the world we live in. So let's say he's right, because why would I assume he's not right? He's the expert. He went to school. He studied this. Let's say fine. Bare minimum, I make half of what I'm expecting. So $513 for a week. Let's make it a clean $250. Half. $250 is what I make a week for working 3 days part-time, 9-hour shifts. Well, that's... You just times that by 4. That's 1,000. So in a month's work of work, I make $1,000, and then I can afford a Switch 2 and a game. So I only have like $100 a month for food. Not even rent. What about gas bills? What about adding gas to the car to actually get to work? Electricity bills, Wi-Fi, water bills. You are taxed 15%, at most 20%. I don't know this stuff, man. Alright, fine. 513 and taxed 20%. Okay, so minus 20%, that's 410. Well, that's still about 3 weeks worth of working to be able to afford a Switch 2. Wouldn't that just be so funny? My new boss asks, alright, you've been working here for a month. Here's your paycheck. What are you going to do with your spending? Oh, I'm going to buy a Nintendo Switch 2. You know, this is all assuming I even get these jobs. I have 2 jobs that I'm in the running for. If you can even call it that. If you can even phrase it that. Chances are the odds are not in my favor. Is there nothing else for me to talk about? If there's nothing else, I'll talk about these shows. Yay. You know, every now and then, I will report that one of these President's AI channels is uploading again. Well, whenever I do that, they stop uploading again. I was given hope that certain channels like Broke Presidents, President's Playdates, and most recently, President's Play Games, those channels started uploading again, and then they just stopped uploading again. It's like, damn. Even after all this time, I still love this meme. It's the funniest thing ever, but not a lot of them are uploading anymore. The craze has died down. President's Play Games, that channel uploaded a compilation a couple days ago. It's just a compilation of old videos, but it's still something. Oh, it's more than a couple days ago, 13 days ago, so it's been 2 weeks. But the last proper video uploaded was a year ago. So at least someone behind the channel is still alive. There's also the channel Dialga. Dialga, the channel that had the presidents play Pokemon Emerald. Earlier today, 5 hours ago, posted Presidents Play Pokemon Emerald, the movie. All the parts together, literally 12 hours. Now, if you looked at Dialga's community post, you know, he's a teacher, so he also is working other stuff. So, he's been busy, haven't been able to make videos. Whoops. You know, having a Switch 2 in my hands, there would actually be games that I would want to play. I've never, in my entire life, played Pokemon Colosseum or XD Gale of Darkness. I want to play those. There's going to be new content for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, as well as Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, albeit minor things for the Zelda games. But stuff I want to experience nonetheless. You know, if replaying Breath of the Wild has made me realize anything, it's made me want to replay Tears of the Kingdom. I've replayed Breath of the Wild so many times, from beginning to end, 100%ing. But yet, I've only played Tears of the Kingdom once. And that was when you saw me play it. Damn, I kind of want to replay Tears of the Kingdom. That long-ass game. Once again, it's such a shame that Tears of the Kingdom never got a Master Mode. You bet I would have played that. And you know, as ridiculous as this argument might be, a game like Tears of the Kingdom costing $80, I can see that making sense. I cannot see that for Mario Kart World, especially for the fact that Canadian, it's $110. Not even 80. No, not 80, 90. Tears of the Kingdom was $90 Canadian. Regular Switch games, or regular games, in Canada used to be $79.99, so $80. Tears of the Kingdom was $10 more, so $90. But Mario Kart World being $110? I cannot see Mario Kart World having more content than Tears of the Kingdom, to the point it is worth, like, $20 more. Tears of the Kingdom costing $10 more, alright, fine, I can see that, because the game, you saw how long it took me to finish the whole game. So that, in a way, is kind of worth the price. I cannot see Mario Kart World being worth the price, especially when it's even more expensive than the game that took me, like, over a year of non-stop playing. Alright, well, I got nothing else to talk about. Let's talk about these shows. What music should I put on? If you couldn't tell, I'm not entirely in the mood to talk about the shows, nor do I really have too much energy, but fine. I'll power through it and I'll just talk about the shows. Oh, also, you know what information I just found out yesterday about, like, Zootopia 2? Hold on, let me look up the actor's name again so I don't butcher it. So I found out that Zootopia 2, the snake character, I think his name is going to be Gary. And then, supposedly, he's voiced by Ki-Hu Kwan. You know, he played Ouroboros in Loki. He also voiced that one character in Kung Fu Panda 4. Didn't he do some sort of Star Wars project recently? Like, dude is on an uprise right now. Dude is getting so many roles, and it's great to see him. So that just made me even more excited for Zootopia 2, the fact that he is going to be voicing one of the main characters. You remember my idea I had? The fact that perhaps Kung Fu Panda and Zootopia could take place in the same world? I mean, there's no evidence, it would just be a fun idea. Both are worlds with anthropomorphic animals. One could just take place in Zootopia, and the Kung Fu Panda franchise just takes place in China. I know they're owned by different companies, different studios, but like, wouldn't that be a fun crossover to see? Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde on screen together with Poe and the Furious Five. That'd be cool to see. And thematically, it would just make sense. They're all animals. Art style's pretty much the same. Anyways, what kind of song can I put on? What kind of background music can I play? You know, it's so much harder to recenter this because majority of the screen is dark and black, so I can barely tell what's happening until something happens on screen. Well, let's talk about The Boys. If anything, for the first time in this particular episode, Season 3, Episode 4, they finally mentioned The Boys, you know? It's like that thing that movies do that Family Guy absolutely did a joke on. When the movie says the title of the movie. It's like when The Walking Dead, they said it 2 times. We are The Walking Dead. I believe that was Season 5. And then Daryl in the final episode's like, we ain't The Walking Dead. So yeah, for the first time, if I'm not mistaken, in this episode, they finally said The Boys. It was a scene where Butcher was talking to MM, like, do you know why I recruited you? It's not because of, you know, your file and how good you are. It's because you are a natural born leader and you hold the group together. That's why I recruited you, so that you can keep the boys together. Man, I had a feeling that's why the show was even called The Boys. It's because we're following this group of characters trying to take down the Soups and Vought. You know, the group of boys, the boys. You know, something I forgot to mention about the previous episode is that Homelander's devious plan is to, quote-unquote, announce to the world that he and Starlight are in love. They're a couple. But I was just thinking, the world knows Starlight is with this guy named Huey Campbell. Well, seems like they covered that off-screen, saying that she broke up with Huey. So, I also forgot to mention last episode when Frenchie was meeting with this Nina character. Butcher also wants to meet with her too. So this episode, we basically start off with that. We start off with Butcher going to meet with Nina. Basically wanting information. Butcher gives her a bunch of money and a bunch of, like, drugs to compensate her loss. But Nina still wants Sherry, and they're just like, no. What can we do in exchange for, you know, not giving you Sherry? Well, they go to Russia. They go to Russia to do this, like, hit job. This episode, Huey also finds out that Butcher is on temporary V24. Yeah. Well, our group goes to Russia. They need to take out this, like, pretty bad guy. This, I think he's like some sort of sex trafficker. It's a pretty bad guy. Probably want to take him out. So Butcher, being the asshole that he is, and he's self-aware of that too, he sends Kimiko in. But Kimiko's not happy about that, neither is Frenchie, but they still have to go along with it. Well, Butcher's being called out by MM, and this is the scene I just mentioned, where it's like, first that thing you did to Ryan, and then now to Kimiko. Like, what's the matter with you these days? If anything, at least in this episode, we got to see Kimiko in a pretty hot dress, so that was nice to see. But when Kimiko went in undercover, this dude just opens a cabinet with all of these Vought and the 7 decorated dildos. At first, I thought they were weapons. They were like weapons that he got from fighting the 7. Like, this is Homelander's weapon that he used to use. This is Black Noir's weapon. This is A-Train's weapon. And then I realized, no, those things are dildos. Well, Kimiko, surprise, stabs him right through the head with one of his dildos. And then Kimiko just goes on a killing spree, killing the dude's guards with a bunch of sex toys. Because why the hell wouldn't they do that in this show? But Kimiko is also pretty distraught from this, because all of the other girls that were there, they were fearing for their lives. They see this girl go crazy, ballistic, and kill all the guys. Kimiko doesn't like this, you know? She doesn't like that she is just a hired gun for the group. But that, according to Butcher, that's exactly what she is. Well, Kimiko and Frenchie seem to have had enough, and they're almost deciding to leave. just go somewhere together as friends and just leave the group, leave this life behind. We shall see Butcher's reaction to when he finds out about this. Alright, so the hit job's done. They held up their end, so they're about to go and look for that super weapon. So they go to this, like, facility. Actually, wait, before that. So Butcher takes another dose of temporary V, and Huey catches him. Huey's just like, let me get some too. I want some too. I wasn't able... I almost got lasered in half by Homelander, and Annie had to save me once again. So Huey's feeling pretty small and vulnerable, so he wants a dose of that good stuff himself. But Butcher's just like, no. So they go to this facility, they go around, they kill a bunch of guys. Wait, no, not Homelander. Butcher just unleashes his power, showing to everyone that he does have powers. He's taken some sort of V, and, you know, like, the group is rightfully thinking, you hate the soups. You hate everything about the soups, and yet you took some yourself. Not only that, Huey took some too. Behind everyone's back, even behind Butcher's back. So Butcher has the powers of laser vision, super strength, bulletproof. Huey has supposedly super strength because he just Liu Kang'd. He Liu Kang'd the guy as if he was Shao Kahn. Huey just punched a guy straight through his body, and Huey also has teleportation powers. Only thing is, it seems like it only teleports him, not his clothes. So when Huey teleports, he becomes butt naked. But Huey doesn't care what everyone else is thinking. Everyone else is disgusted by Huey taking it. Not Huey, though. He has a huge smile. He's enjoying it. Well, they open this giant container thing, and they find Soldier Boy in there. Of course, they weren't going to bring in Jensen Ackles just for a couple of flashback scenes. Of course, he was going to be in present day. So they find Soldier Boy's body after all these years. And then he unleashes this blast. It was about to hit Frenchie, but then Kimiko pushes him out the way. The blast hits Kimiko, but then she's not healing. So they hurry up and rush her out of there. They're driving in the van. Huey is just enjoying his new powers, which also healed his arm, by the way. Remember, Kimiko broke his arm. Well, the group is more divided now than ever. Not only Butcher, but also Huey took V, so they've become what they've been fighting against this whole time. Kimiko's dying because she, for some reason, can't heal. Even MM has had enough. So the group is pretty divided. More divided than ever before. So this all took place over at Russia, over in America on the Vought side. Funny enough, Homelander signed Huey's cast and it said Pest, comma, Homelander. At least it didn't say die. Starlight goes and visits Maeve, who we haven't seen in a while. Starlight tries to bring in Maeve about this weapon that could kill Homelander. But little does she know, Maeve is like 10 steps ahead, because it was actually Maeve who informed Butcher about this potential weapon that could kill Homelander. I think it's safe to say that Homelander doesn't die at the end of this season, because, you know, there's a season 4. Well, now the 7 has reassembled, has new members. So, the 7 are in their little, like, that's what they want you to think? We shall see. If anything, I'm just hoping to get to season 4 so I can see Jeffrey Dean Morgan. You know, Conquest himself, Negan himself. You know, before season 4, people were saying that Jeffrey Dean Morgan would be a perfect fit for the show. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Unlike the restrictions that Walking Dead has, this show, he can really go crazy. He can really just cut loose and do whatever. Say whatever. So I can't wait. I don't know who he's playing. I don't know the character's name that he's playing. But I can't wait to see him. But unlucky for me, I still have Gen V to watch before The Boys Season 4. Fuck! Anyways. So, the new The Seven is all together. With characters like The Deep and A-Train returning, but also as a new member, Supersonic. There was this running gag in the episode. Ashley told Homelander that Victoria Newman is doing a press conference about Homelander. So then Homelander is just like, has your brain been fucked by stupid? That wasn't rhetorical, Ashley. Answer me. No, my brain has not been fucked by stupid, sir. And then later on in the episode, Ashley did that same thing to a guy who wrote some sort of script. And then, you know, they were getting horny. It's like, I need to punish you. How will you punish me? Ashley just pulls out this patriotic dildo. This dildo just painted with the stars and stripes. This Homelander dildo. Not even, wait, it was a strap-on. Whatever. It's like... A-Train tries to bring up to the Seven about this, like, this other character's name, Blue something, who is terrorizing minority communities. Yeah, of course, that's bad, but no one in the Seven really cares. Instead, the Deep actually chimes in, and Homelander takes the Deep's side. So because of this, the Deep and A-Train get into an argument, into a fight. They both threaten each other, like, do you want me to bring up the fact that you leaked those files about Homelander? Do you want me to tell Homelander that you were the one who fished up the flight log in the Atlantic Ocean? They fight. Homelander actually takes the Deep side. And it's actually Supersonic who is trying to recruit A-Train to join their cause, join the resistance, to find this thing that can kill Homelander, to go up against Homelander. Because earlier in the episode, Annie is trying to warn Supersonic, like, there might be something we can do about Homelander. He's growing more and more unhinged. Like, I can't tell you what it is, it's probably safer for you if you don't know, but we're doing something. And then Supersonic is just like, okay, I'm in, whatever you need. Understandably so, Starlight's just like, why have you been so nice to me? You've just agreed to everything I've been telling you. The obvious line I was thinking of, and the show actually said it, Supersonic's just like, because you were the only girl I've ever loved, Annie January. Like, he said exactly what I thought he was going to say. But then he's just like, I'm fucking with you. I'm helping you because it's the right thing to do. I don't know, I feel like the end of the episode would have hit much harder had they just stuck with it. Had they just stuck with, because you have been the only girl I ever loved, and that's why I'm helping you. I feel like it would have hit that much harder had they actually stuck with it. It was around this time I was getting vibes like, alright, Supersonic's probably not going to survive to the end of the season. He's definitely going to be a casualty throughout the season. So because Annie brought in Supersonic to go up against Homelander, Supersonic tried to recruit A-Train, but A-Train wants to be on Homelander's good side and not with the Deep. So that comes into play later. Well, the press conference with Victoria Newman comes up. Previously, we saw her discuss with Stan Edgar about, like, don't worry about it. You will do the press conference because Homelander's stepping out of line, and he needs to be reminded that he is not in control. Victoria Newman's just scared for her daughter, like, what about me and Zoe? What about Zoe? Stan Edgar tries to reassure his adoptive daughter that she will be fine, but she just didn't listen. So, the press conference, Victoria Newman actually exposes her adoptive father, Stan Edgar, instead of Homelander. So now Homelander is truly in charge of Vought and the Seven. Stan Edgar is taking an extended leave of absence. Welp. End of the episode, Homelander wants to take Starlight to somewhere to see something. What he goes and takes her to see is Supersonic's dead body. Turns out A-Train actually leaked it to Homelander, trying to get onto his good side. Like, yo man, Supersonic's trying to recruit me into some sort of thing that could harm you. Just wanted to let you know, man. You know, I'm better than the Deep. So, I was expecting Supersonic to die at some point in this season, just not this quickly. So, Supersonic's dead. It's a bit of a shame. He was actually just a good character. He was just a good guy. Well, at least Huey now has nothing to be jealous of. But still, I think it would have hit that much harder had he stuck with "You are the only girl I ever loved." I think it would have hit that much harder had he stuck with it. But, you know, it's a shame that Supersonic's dead. He was just a genuinely good guy. But, Homelander killed him to make an example. Like, you don't get it, do you? You have no leverage against me. No more scheming behind my back. No more anything. From now on, you do what you're told. You do what I tell you. Otherwise, that there will be Huey next time. Understood? Yes? Then say it. Say it so I know you know. Say that will be Huey. So now, in a way, Starlight is now forced to capitulate, to submit, because she doesn't want that to happen to Huey. Someone with powers like Supersonic was killed by Homelander, so she's afraid that her, normal flesh bag, Huey, no powers, no nothing, will be instantly vaporized by Homelander. Little does she know that Huey actually took temporary V. I'm sure that won't mess up the relationship whatsoever. Or at least make it unstable. Well, for the most part, that's about it. Well, once again, the Seven has lost another one of its members. Let's see. So far, the Seven, ever since we lost Transparent, or Translucent, right now the Seven only has 6 members. Homelander, Maeve, Starlight, Deep, A-Train, Black Noir, that's 6. Supersonic was number 7, but he's now dead. That can't be a good look for Vought, First Translucent died, and then now Supersonic died. So 2 members of the 7 have died. Probably not a good look. Give me a second. Let me see if there's any lights to turn off, and then we'll talk about From. Yes, indeed, there were more lights to turn off. Oh, you want to know something else that I saw earlier today regarding a channel? So, the channel Ordinary Sausage, I'm sure I'm not the only one who watches him. Turns out his first video was 5 years ago. Jesus, has it really been that long? I've been watching him. I've been watching him for 5 years now? I've watched him since his first video, the Big Mac sausage, I think. I think that was his first one. It's already a year since Ordinary Sausage started? Yeah, 5 years ago, Big Mac sausage. How's it already been 5 years since this channel not only started, but since I've watched him? 5 years! Oh man, I saw a pizza ad and now I want pizza. Big Mac sausage. 5 years ago. A Big Mac sausage. You know, he really doesn't do a whole lot of, like, that kind of sausage anymore. These days, he just mixes certain ingredients with pork meat. He used to do things like the Big Mac sausage, the, sausage, like, entire food items, ground it up and turned it into a sausage. But no, these days, he just mixes certain ingredients with pork meat. You know, I kind of miss when he did just the one food item as a sausage. How has it been this long since I started watching this channel? 5 years? Another 5 years later, and it would have been 10 years. I would have been watching this guy for a decade. 5 more years, and it would have been a decade since I watched this man make things into sausages. Oh. But enough dilly-dallying. Let's talk about From. Let me put on some music first. To my surprise, for the most part, this episode was actually really good. I would have said borderline excellent this episode. However, half the episode was really strong, half the episode is what I would call excellent, and the other half is just, how much longer is this episode? Like, when is this episode going to end? Okay, so we saw at the end of the last episode that Tabitha and Henry, that was Victor's father's name, Henry, not Frank. Henry, they're in an ambulance and they've encountered the tree. So, no surprise, Tabitha tries to warn them that it's not safe to go out at night. There's this little town. People can help us there. Turn the ambulance around, please. Obviously, no one's gonna listen to her, right? No sane person is gonna listen to her. But just you as the viewer, it's frustrating, right? Because you know she's right. You've seen everything so far. And at this point, it's frustrating whenever any sane, normal person comes along and doesn't listen. It's like, oh, why aren't you listening? But we can't blame you. It sounds so insane. There's no logical reason for you to believe her. Yeah. There's actually a phone call, and Ethan picks it up, claiming the voice on the phone claiming it's Thomas, and that their mother is alive and on her way in an ambulance. And she's going to need help. And then later on, yup, comes true, an ambulance come by. So, something I forgot to mention about the last episode is that Randall, he started seeing the cicadas again. Well, that can't be good. And also, Boyd offered a swap, a trade. He takes the bus that night, so Randall can take the sheriff's department. Because Boyd wants the bus to be able to see the monsters, like, movements. So in this episode, Boyd and Randall are in the bus together. Randall's just like, something's not right, you know? The monsters have routines. The one in the dress or whatever would always be here, smiling, tapping on the window. Another monster would always be there, sitting. The other monsters would go over there. Like, they have the same things that they do night after night. But they're not doing it tonight. Why? Well, this is where the episode actually is pretty excellent. So the ambulance does indeed roll by. Two of the paramedics see that there is a woman on the floor, so they go out to help, like, you know, paramedics do. But Tabitha tries to warn them, like, no, you can't, you will die. But obviously they don't listen. Well, the woman on the floor opens her eyes, smiles, and then kills both of them. So the one female cop finally realizes, like, oh shit, something really isn't right here. These monsters are chasing me and killing people. So she runs for her life. But she handcuffed Tabitha to the ambulance because to her, she was just someone crazy and acting out. Well, Jim, Boyd, and Rando go to the ambulance and see that it's Tabitha. But she's she's handcuffed to the rail, so they need to find the keys to get her out. They search the dead bodies, they search the ambulance, there is no handcuff keys. Randall tries to get some tools, tosses it to Boyd so that he can cut off the handcuffs. However, Randall, bad timing, sees the cicadas, gets overwhelmed, and then gets surrounded by the monsters. One of the monsters is standing right next to Boyd at the ambulance driver's seat, just hands him the keys. The keys to start the car. It's like, here, take it. But we get to keep Randall. It's an impossible decision to make. You either all die, or you sacrifice one life and the rest of you get away. Boyd makes a hard decision to take the keys, leave Randall behind to die so that they can get away. So it seemed like rest in peace to Randall. Well, the female cop, she's running for her life. She makes it all the way to Colony House, just shooting bullets everywhere, trying to ward off the monsters, but it's not working. One of the bullets flies into one of the windows where this character Nikki was looking out. The bullet hits her. Well, the cop gets let in. So does Jim, Tabitha, and Boyd. They all get into Colony House as well. Marielle tries her best to save Nikki, but eventually, internal bleeding, she dies. And, well, Boyd kind of snaps. So, you know, he kind of blames the lady officer. I don't think we even learned her name yet. Donna tries to talk to Boyd, and then Donna just breaks out in tears because she just has had enough. This living nightmare that they're in, Donna's just at her breaking point. Tabitha's just like, I fucking told you so. I told you. Nobody wins in this situation. Well, now there's a dead body of a friend, a fellow survivor. Fatima gets some alone time to say goodbye, and then Fatima just tastes blood and likes it. Human blood and likes it. So the bullet wound on Nikki's side is still oozing blood if you put pressure on it. Fatima sticks her finger in there, her finger's covered in blood, and then she tastes it and likes it. I almost thought she was gonna be like a vampire, put her mouth to the hole and just suck out all the blood. That would have been absolutely disgusting, but thankfully they didn't do that. Like, I don't know, can pregnancy really make your taste buds that backwards? Not only eating rotting vegetables, but also human blood? Can pregnancy really turn your taste buds that 180? Well, for the most part, that was the excellent portion of the episode. You know, actual nighttime survival. The rest of the episode was pretty boring. Because once all this, like, exciting, cool stuff was happening and over with, the rest of the episode was rather slow. And you're just like, oh man, like, the good stuff is done with. How much longer do we have? Like, the rest of the stuff is pretty boring world building. And I looked at the runtime too. This was actually one of the shorter episodes. I think this episode was like 47 minutes. Compared to the other episodes, like hour-long runtime. So this was actually one of the shorter episodes. What else happened in this episode? So, Victor and Sarah built a little fort so Victor can try to remember stuff. So we get some more context to that scene we saw in Season 1, where Victor as a kid came out of the cellar. We know, thanks to Season 2, that he was hiding in that cellar with his mom and sister, but they both went out and they both died. Victor came out and saw all those dead bodies. Remember, I was questioning what happened to those bodies. Did Victor bury them himself? What happened to them? We don't really get that answer, still. Victor just said that he wasn't able to bury them all. There were too many bodies for him to bury himself. So instead, the little boy in white told him to take belongings that matter to the people who died and bury those instead. Okay, great. That still doesn't answer what happened to the bodies. Right? You answered that you didn't bury them, but that still doesn't answer what happened to them. Also, Victor reveals that he knows about the boy in white to Sarah. Sarah's like, you know about him too? So, Victor realizes that, you know, certain items that he sees, he remembers who they were from, like who owned these items, but there's nothing here from Christopher. If you remember, Christopher was a guy in the picture with a young Victor in the background, that Christopher guy. Victor then remembers what's missing that Christopher owned. It was the ventriloquist doll that Jade saw in Season 2, in the caves. That ventriloquist doll belonged to Christopher. Victor kept on saying, like, Christopher, he was nice, until he started seeing the symbols, and then he changed. And then one day, Victor saw Christopher talking to his ventriloquist doll that itself started moving as well. So something's going on with that ventriloquist doll that we will learn later on. Victor grows a hissy fit that, you know, he doesn't want to do this anymore. And what he said to Sarah was kind of heartless, like, I'm afraid, like, what I might remember would be scary. And you, Sarah, are the scariest person here. Wow, that's a low blow. Oh yeah, you remember in Season 1 how Sarah had words showing up on her arms? That hasn't really come back, nor has it ever been explained. So now it's like, what the fuck was that? Huh? Nothing came from that. That hasn't been even brought up again yet. Oh yeah, at the end of the episode, it's revealed that Randall is alive. He's pretty beaten up, but he's alive. So he also survived the monsters. Why? We'll have to see. The monsters' motives are really unclear right now. They kill for the love of the sport, yet they also love to torture Boyd and try to break him. One would think they would kill anyone they can get their hands on besides Boyd, but they spared Randall. It might be because he's seeing the cicadas again, we'll see. And speaking of seeing again, Elgin once again sees that, like, decrepit woman in a kimono dress. Again, he sees her again, and then it actually asks Elgin to help her. So, yay, another overlapping mystery that we won't get answers to anytime soon. Elsewhere in the log cabin out there, Kenny, Christy, and Jade, they're discussing things. Doesn't really serve much purpose besides Jade finally revealing to them that he's been hallucinating, telling Kenny, like, remember that time we went to the cellar down there and I told you I saw stuff, you thought I was crazy. Not a whole lot to mention about that. It was just mostly filler to let us know the characters are okay. But, the exciting moments in this episode were excellent. But then after that stuff was done, it was boring. You know? Like, that's just bad structuring for an episode. The exciting stuff was really good, but then we go back to our regularly scheduled program with the show, and it's like, man, it's so slow in comparison to the good stuff. Like, how much longer is this episode? It is so slow. Unfortunately, we got the discussion off screen about Tabitha, everything Tabitha's been through. So we did not get to see, we were denied the pleasure of seeing Jim's reaction to hearing that Tabitha escaped, found Victor's father, and ended back here. We did not get to see Jim's reaction to that. All we got to see was Jim questioning, "Are you sure that's Victor's father?" That is pretty much it for this episode, unless I'm forgetting something. Well, if anything, we now know that the talismans don't work this way. So when they were all outside, Randall tried to be like, trying to use a talisman to ward off the monsters as if it was a crucifix. Like, back off, holding up the talisman. And the monsters are just like, that's not how it works, sweetie. So at least we know that doesn't work that way. It's not holy water. Yeah, for the most part, that's it for this episode. Half of it was excellent. You know which parts were excellent. And the other half was just slow. Sick shiny? I wish. You know, in my mind, I keep on picturing shiny Dialga to be a very bright, vibrant green. No, it's actually pretty subtle. I keep thinking it's more bright green and vibrant than it is. One of these days, statistically, yes. So after this is done, I'll need to order some new shoulder buttons for my 3DS on Amazon. Gotta wait for it to arrive. I gotta, you know, open up my 3DS and fix it first. And then I would be able to, you know, go back to my 3DS. Have I replaced the battery yet? No, actually I've never replaced the battery. The battery on my 3DS is still fine. Nintendo still sells it, really. I don't know, I don't really need it. I could always just have one to be safe. I could buy a spare one and just have it lying around until the day I need it. Only because it shares the same battery as the Switch Pro controller. Ah. You know, that reminds me. Something I wanted to look into, which I highly doubt is still in stock. I wanted to look up the GameCube controller for the Switch 2. Supposedly you need a membership, a Nintendo membership. You bought a big one off of Amazon? Really? Is your 3DS's battery off the fritz? Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to look into the GameCube controller. Because if I'm going to play some GameCube games whenever I get the Switch 2, I at least want to try to use the GameCube controller. I don't think I've ever actually used the GameCube controller. Sad life. Sad existence. It was just a couple hours when it used to be less than a day. Wait, be at least a day? You mean shipping? Or the battery life? Oh no, I can actually buy it. $85 for the Nintendo GameCube controller. Oh, battery life. Sad part is, like, I can buy it. I really could. And in a way, I probably should. Before, one, it sells out, and two, the prices go up. $85 for a GameCube controller. With the useless C button for game chat I will never use, because game chat looks abysmal, and I will not be using it. So that's a worthless C button. The Nintendo GameCube trademark controller has the familiar look and feel of the original, along with modern features like the C button, which can open game chat asterisks, and the capture button. I will never use that C button. It also says here, Nintendo Switch Online required. So, I have heard concerns online. Obviously, the console's not even out yet. I heard concerns online that the GameCube controller would only work for NSO GameCube games, and it won't work for, like, just your every average Switch game. Like, you can't use the GameCube controller for, like, Mario Kart World. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see when the controller actually comes out with the console, and then we'll have to see. Like 85 bucks, that's a big investment just to play the old games with its controller. I can always just play the old games with the Joy-Cons. I mean, there is that problem with... I know there is that problem with playing something like Mario Sunshine with the Joy-Cons, because it doesn't have the, you know, the extra layer of click that the analog stick does on the GameCube. I don't know, I'll have to see if I want to actually order this. Anyways, I'm about to end this. By the way, if you heard shuffling a little bit earlier, that's because my dad came in. Alright, last encounter, then I'm gonna call it for today. Until those shoulder buttons show up in the mail and I actually replace it on my 3DS, looks like we're gonna have to use this 3DS XL in the meantime. And no shiny Dialga for today. Psych! One more reset. And then for real, I'm gonna call it. Alright, no shiny Dialga. I'll see you guys next time.